Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever, however you are joining us for this special February
There's something
special February airing of the I Speak Jeep podcast.
If you were really, you might have seen Neil eating his feelings there.
Yeah.
For a minute.
What was really fun is I actually had the camera live and nobody noticed it. I just sat here waiting to see if somebody would say anything, and then the comments come in that there's no audio.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Neil's just sitting here eating away.
I'm eating breakfast.
We've had costume changes already this morning.
Oh, it's a banger, folks. It is a banger. If you're listening in, we are going to do our best to fight off our friend Murphy.
We're overcoming adversity.
From involving himself anymore in our daily trajectory, because it is the day after the Super Bowl, and I don't know if we can say that or not. We'll probably get a cease and desist letter. Actually, this episode will
how about
probably
we
get
just
taken
say
down.
what I've been
actually.
referencing? It's a golf game. We've been missing out. I missed out on the golf game.
There was a sports balls game last night.
Yeah,
and then it is also a couple days before Valentine's Day, folks.
Yes.
So
yeah, the episode is called Achy Breaky Jeep.
Achy Breaky Jeep.
Yeah.
My name is Neil with SFJ4x4.com and joined in Grandma's Couch Studio by the producer,
Jeff
the Italian Stallion.
Jeff Shermani.
Are you sure?
I don't know because I was waiting for him to keep going. What about the mad scientist over there?
Mad scientist Scott Brown, filler of oil tanks this morning.
Yeah, our heat went out apparently.
Well, it was thinking about it.
It was thinking
threatening. It was getting shaky there.
Yeah.
And we're like, why aren't you working? And then it was like, oh, maybe we need to put some oil.
Maybe
in
we
the
should
tank.
put fuel in you.
Yeah,
Maybe that's how this
it was a little thirsty.
Well, actually, maybe that's a little bit of a segue into Achy Breaky Jeeps. We will be talking today about all the ways that your Jeep might break your heart.
Yes.
And then
a good intro to that.
Yes, and then because of course the heating system was trying to break our hearts this morning.
Yes. It was.
And then you'll want to hold in there for the hashtag not sponsored segment where we will be talking about the latest, greatest fog light, spotlight, LED technology.
And just warning, it might make you hungry.
Oh, there's a good teaser to who that might be.
Meanwhile, if you're a viewer, Scott was doing Vanna White hands.
Yeah, I was doing my best.
Well, I don't think you can see it very well, and
Yeah.
it just looks like some brown, nice retail packaging,
Yep.
brown boxes in the background. So yes, it was a big weekend. There was things going on, stuff and things and the whatnot. Any updates from you, you fine gentlemen in the process?
I think Scott should go first because I know he's got some big ones.
So
I'm going to eat my breakfast, Will Scott.
Go ahead. You keep eating those feelings.
Yeah.
So I got the tires in and got those mounted up Saturday after work, and got.
Can you hear me chewing?
It's fine. It's fine. Anyway,
Jeff on a production level is cringing because I'm over here chewing into the mic.
I just do this and then he
yeah.
he has no mic. We're good. We can't hear him chew.
Can you not hear me? Now I'm just. Oh my gosh! I got so loud so fast. Okay.
The problem with Neil is he'll just get louder.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I mounted up the tires and wheels and was able to get the passenger side fender bolted on the car. I had just thrown some random bolts in it. And then I got brave and put the driver's side fender on appropriately. And I was like, well, now I need to go back and actually do the other side of the match. So got that all on there and realized I am one nutsert on the body short. So I got to find a little square nut and chase that in there so I can put the last fender bolt in. But for all intents and purposes,
it's a square. I can't hear myself, Jeffrey.
Your mic is perfectly
Am I
fine.
back? Are you sure? I'm going to be
Yeah.
extra loud.
no.
So
Yes, I use square nuts with a little cage around them because, we're built one step out of a barn.
it's not. Are you sure my volume is? You messed with things, and now I'm.
I messed with it.
feel
You're the
like-
one that has your mic repositioned.
Yeah, well, I don't know why my mic. The
Your mic
studio's
is sitting at
falling
your.
Down.
I was gonna say, what are you doing?
I don't know how this happened.
He wants it to be like the midday show.
What is going on? Oh my gosh, the mic is like falling down.
We're just going to let him do that and continue on. So
the nuts are. I'm still not loud as I should be. So the nutserts are not the nutserts we know now.
No.
God, my neck is breaking trying to.
I blame you. It was fine until you touched the mic stand.
It keeps going. There we go. That's a different sound. I think Jeff turned me up as
I
well.
didn't turn you up. It's just positioning of the
You
mic.
okay now?
All right. I don't know. I'm slouching in my seat now, trying to get in front
Well,
of my
you are on
microphone.
Grandma's couch. It's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, I took so many naps on this
You know what
couch
I
back in
can
the day.
promise you?
What's that,
I
Jeff?
can promise you the audio's still better than the Super Bowl.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Uh,
The audio at the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm just gonna keep touching my microphone.
That's
The whole
fine. Hold on
apparently,
over
my
here.
OCD is extra going today. Wow, today's gonna be a banger. Anywho,
So I can't remember if I updated you about this last week or not, but I also have some cool parts showing up for the car that aren't tires, and I'm
Yeah,
going to do
you-
a better
you-
job of
you-
not telling you what they are because I totally blew it on the tires, and Neil immediately guessed, and then the surprise was out.
yeah,
But you're going to have to pay attention. I don't believe they've been shipped yet, but we are having a bunch of new parts and pieces for the car.
this is
coming.
that acquaintance you have, that friend of the industry who's making you some one-off stuff.
Nope.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, this is actually a fellow early Ford enthusiast and fellow metal guy that has a YouTube channel, and he is infected with 36 Love as much as I am, and I've been bothering him for a while now about a certain part that he has hanging all over his shop. That's about the only hint you're going to get.
I would require us to watch Ford 36 YouTubers.
Yes.
Mhm.
So he
No,
does
it's
have.
not going to happen. It's that.
He
I
has.
didn't even watch our YouTube video from Friday, and I feel bad because apparently nobody has.
I was going to say,
if
right.
if you haven't, you got to go check that out.
That's
It's
a
pretty
fun
good
video.
It is.
It's a good unboxing.
I mean, I haven't watched it, but I was in it, so I know what's in it.
Oh, I watched it. I watched it a couple times. I thought
Yeah.
it was good.
Hey, what are you doing to us, Jeff? I thought you were supposed to help that thing.
I know.
not
I thought
make
he
it
was supposed to
worse.
help our metrics and algorithm of,
Yeah.
of putting our content out into the world, and then people
There's-
must have tuned in and they
Oh,
just
it's Jeff. Quick,
Yep.
quick, turn it off.
Yep.
right.
Yep.
I got a game to go to.
Well, there was bets on the fact that I couldn't produce a bad video here, and finally it happened,
it
and I was
happened.
excited that it actually happened.
Meh.
Of course you were.
Meh. Just a fluke, just a
Yeah.
flesh wound.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a pretty productive weekend. I really liked update seeing the tires on
Yep.
the car.
The car's looking really nice, starting to look like a
Yeah.
car.
I hope it comes down the back just a scooch, but it has the back tires were much better than what was on there before. So
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'm happy.
and the color of the wheels is just
Yeah,
spot
and
on.
Now I have to make the fronts match. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, jeez.
because they're not the same color as what I had done before. So yeah.
So you're just making up colors at this point.
Well, this is the color now. I'm all in. So now if this can runs out, I have to go, find across the nation where the other of this color is and hope it matches. And I already hear
That's
Greg
a
in my
terrible
head.
plan.
The different batch numbers, so I'm just hoping this can hold strong, and I have enough for 2 more wheels. I'm not even painting the backs. Moving on. Don't care. Just the fronts.
You're just painting the fronts of the wheels.
yeah, saving paint.
Saving.
Well, they were already painted once, so
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Well, or are they? Maybe have to watch for that. Anyway,
What?
I don't know what just
What?
happened.
I don't know. He starts talking
more
Ford
parts
stuff.
are coming, and are they painted or are
We-
they not painted? Anyway,
So he got wheels.
That's what I'm hearing.
So you just told us now that you got wheels. You're the worst.
and there's more parts.
You're the
than that,
worst
so
at
anyway.
giving away
I was
surprises
gonna
and
say-
whatnot.
So I'll
I'm just gonna
explain
keep
all
touching
that,
my
and you guys can
microphone.
go to sleep.
I could
later.
hear it. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm just moving it
knocking.
closer.
He wants.
It's okay.
He wants it to be like the halftime show. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was bad.
No, the show was, the dancing was fantastic. It's the audio, is the production, right? So it was
Yeah.
the production
production value.
of the show was horrendous.
I mean, we're in Las Vegas. I had absolutely higher standards for audio,
and maybe that was part of the problem. We expected it to be better than it was. I don't know, but the sound quality, you couldn't. I had to turn the volume up on my TV significantly, and I still could hardly hear
And
it.
then the announcer probably came on and blew your eardrums
Yes.
out.
I wanted to blame Apple products in the process.
Oh,
I
boy.
thought that there was a conspiracy theory there in
Oh,
the sense
no.
that it was something. It was something that it was going to be available. Like the halftime audio was going to be available on across the Apple platform later, and so I actually
Jeff
Well,
walked-
it was sponsored by Apple Music.
yeah, and I saw a quick commercial, and I saw a quick commercial beforehand, and it said something to the effect of like the show was going to be available on Apple products following the Super Bowl. You're right. And I saw it, and it was brief. And it was one of those like Mandela moments where I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that was real. But I actually I believe, right. If you had to put $100 down on the table, I would tell you there was like a 10-second clip that was like Apple came on and was like, "Hey, the Super Bowl."
We're just making stuff up now, people.
It was total Mandela effect that it's going to be available on Apple products after the Super Bowl. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Good for them. That's a little marketing push
Go
that
out
they're
and
going
do
to
your own research. Don't take any Apple product information from.
Don't take any advice from me on this. No, yeah, I speak Jeep. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to
Jeff's cringing over there.
when it comes to this Apple thing. But I saw that and I thought, oh, okay, cool. They're going to have that. They're going to be first to market. And if somebody really liked the performance,
And nobody did.
you'll be able to listen or hear it, And so I actually thought like, oh, hey, the audio sucked because they were mixing it for their purposes of
They had to lower the standards 10 years ago since it's an Apple product.
well, the idea that like
Wow.
mixing for public consumption, like so in the stadium, I bet it sounded good. And then and mixing it for recording there versus I actually felt like the audio that was being broadcast was simply ambient audio from the PA systems.
Somebody with their phone. Everybody with the iPhone was recording.
Yeah,
in the
basically.
auction.
That's what it
Basically,
sounded
that's
like.
what it sounded like. It sounded like they were not actually mixing any audio for the televised consumer.
Yeah.
So the most
I would
important
agree
part,
100%.
though, I can't weigh in because I was actually doing stuff other than that. But
I
Was
was
there-
doing stuff.
was there
I was
any
eating
good
food.
commercials?
There was great commercials. I didn't see a Jeep commercial.
That's the most important thing.
Oftentimes we unpack some of the vehicle or Jeep commercials.
I literally was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm not going to know if there was a cool Jeep commercial. And then I just kept working on
I
the
don't
car.
believe there was.
I don't believe there was. I don't believe there was. I did see a couple statistics, and I don't know factually this to be true, but that a Super Bowl commercial was $25 to $45 million
Oh
for a
my.
30-second
for a
spot.
30-second spot.
Wow.
And Scott, this is gonna really excite you. The
Yeah.
seats,
Uh-huh.
the cheapest seat
Uh-huh.
for the Super Bowl was $8,000.
Nope. There's so much note
Really?
there.
Yep.
Huh?
Nope.
Wow. Wow. That
I will not pay $8,000 to go watch somebody play golf.
Oh, there was all sorts of videos of people going around going, if I'm gonna pay that much money to go to this game, I better be on the field. I better be getting tackled.
$8,000.
And it was
For
like
basic
a
seating.
nosebleed,
Yes.
terrible seat.
Huh.
Yes.
Like their audio was worse than what yours
Do you
was
imagine
at
how many
home.
Jeep parts you could buy for $8,000?
Right?
I could buy a whole Jeep. I could buy another 36 Ford.
Speaking of, let's get back to vehicular things because really
Well-
that's our audience. Wait. I stopped and I looked at a little Mazda B Series truck, right?
Uh-huh.
Clean, cool little, looks like a 2-wheel drive, extended cab.
Yep.
B Series truck. All right. Northeastern Ohio.
What era? I need
Oh,
qualifiers.
no, yeah, for sure. It's a 1991.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's a box.
It's a box, which is I like. It's the Nissan
There's a-
Hardbody.
there's a
it's the
love
S10.
Group online for that.
Is there?
There's
Oh,
gotta
maybe
be.
that's. Oh, there's.
I mean, there's mini trucks. Those people love that truck. But then there's probably actually a group
just
for
for
that
the
truck.
Mazdas.
for that
Okay.
truck.
So here's the thing: 105,000 miles, 4-cylinder.
Mhm.
I believe it was automatic. Don't quote me on that.
Ew.
It just looked really base as base, other than the fact it's extended cab. How much should that truck be? This is a regular,
mean-
everyday.
Over the course of the weekend, the things I did pay attention to is I saw everything from a mid-90s GM truck for free with no motor or transmission with a title, and it was free,
Wow.
to somebody wanting, I'm trying to remember now, what mid-90s car with no miles, and it was like 20 grand.
So that's no miles. I can kind of. I
I
mean,
mean,
105
But it was
on
not,
a 4-banger.
it was not, it was a 4-door grandma beige. I think it was like a 01 Ford Focus, not I'm actually thinking about it, with no options. That was like 25K or something, but it had like less than 1,000 miles or something. But that's the Scott. I thought I saw that on the internet.
Yeah, that's me and my Apple product
Yeah.
music conspiracy. All right. So how much is that truck?
Oh God, Well, it can be either ridiculously cheap or very expensive. So I'm gonna say $10K.
Oh, okay. No, I mean it was four grand.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's a 9,100,000 mile
but you gotta
4-banger
remember-
auto 2-wheel drive truck.
Yeah, remember that a $4,000 truck is what used to be a $2,000 truck.
I mean, I'm telling
Or a
you, I feel like
$1,500
I
truck.
literally used to buy those. I used to buy Comanches for $50 to $500.
Yes.
$50 would buy you a Comanche at
Yeah,
one time.
Those days have sailed, man. You're showing our age.
He's got a point. I can't help you on this one.
I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a $2,000 truck. Do you know what I mean?
Well-
I thought, man, that, you know what? That's a pretty cool little $2,000.
15 years ago, it was.
I just don't understand how a 1991.
Because it's a mini truck, man. It's cool.
Well, I
for
mean, it is
somebody.
actually pretty cool.
Besides car shopping, what else did you do this weekend? What other updates you got?
So you know what? I worked on the house. You know, we're getting good motion in the ocean on that these days. Just continuing to make it look like a house instead of a storage unit. Speaking of storage units, I actually brought in real storage units, which is a kind of an expansion to how we're operating here at SFJ 4x4 in order to free up some real estate to maximize our workflow. And so when I wasn't working on the house, I was moving stuff is the best way to put it, you know, and it's just how often in life do we just have stuff and then we let it pile up and we go, oh, well, I'll get back around to that, or, oh, someday I'll use that. And I spent a lot of time doing that kind of stuff in the process of starting the business and, you know, working on houses and building houses and all that kind of things. And now I'm looking at a lot of stuff going, some of this I need, some of this I want to hold on to the future, some of this has got to go, and some of this has to just kind of get put on a back burner for the moment, you know, just like literally interim until a vehicle is here to be serviced and so on and so forth. So
Yep.
for our Patreons who are following along, you're going to get to see some stuff that was done to the house this weekend. And if you're not and you are interested in the tiny home build, you should join our Patreon group.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. Jeffrey, anything on your plate?
Just more stuff for the nonprofit organization, Heberly's Heartstrings. We got all the awards and trophies in for the event in April, so that's up on our social medias. We got a guitar donated last week
that was
to
pretty
raffle
cool.
off.
That's awesome.
So that is up on social media and on our website, available for.
And did I overhear some people already registered for the event?
Yep. So registration for the event for artists started Saturday, and at 2 a.m. was our first registration, and it
That's
just
awesome.
has continued steadily through. So we've got.
When did it actually open? Like, were they sitting there waiting to click the mouse?
It opened at midnight, so
Oh.
the 10th. So
Yeah,
it was.
that's pretty quick.
So they got home from the last performance
And
they're
it
like,
went
hey,
on.
I should do this.
hey, I should book this.
I'll go to sleep. I should do this.
Yep. Get involved with that. Excellent. And did you mention the date? If not,
it's
mention it again.
April 19th,
Yeah.
and that's in Erie, PA.
Yeah, very cool, and we continue to wish you the best of luck on that. And
Well, now that we got updates out of the way, because it is that week, this is for Neil. This is from Amy and me.
Oh,
oh my!
is it safe to
So-
open on
It
air?
is safe. to
So
open.
so Scott just handed me, you know,
He's
a
gonna laugh.
really nice little paper
Obviously,
bag.
my wife packaged that.
100%.
Would've
And,
been in a
and
plastic
tissue
bag.
paper. Oh yeah, it would have been a plastic bag.
I would just thrown it at you.
Oh, they're wiener socks. Oh, and Kool-Aid Man. Oh my gracious!
For those that don't know, Neil has mad sock game, and we try to enforce that.
This is fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I literally have an Oscar Mayer Wienermobile sock in one. Well, not sock, a socks
Yes, those.
pair. And then in the other hand, we have classic throwback, the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Way to go, Scott.
Kool-Aid socks. I have
That's
not
all my
seen
wife.
these. That is
I'm just a
excellent.
delivery guy.
That's funny.
Those are fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, folks. If you see me out at a wheeling adventure, I almost always have fun socks on.
Fun socks.
They will often be hidden by my pants, but it's a little bit of a signature piece. So if you ever, I actually have a couple friends who I will stop and take pictures with to see about their sock game in the
Repping
process.
the socks.
Yep. So if you ever see me out wheeling, you know what? There should be like a little bet out there if you catch me without fun socks on.
Yes.
But realistically,
And if you're a real good
Scott,
customer,
could you tighten that for him?
You might be giving him some socks.
yes, and I've gotten some excellent socks from customers.
No
and
pressure.
friends, so. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Is your mic
Well,
finally
thank
staying
you.
where you want it?
I don't know, Jeff. I don't know. I
You're
did
the
it.
mic guy at this point.
Oh my gracious!
Just follow him around.
Somebody just boom me at this point and be done with it. So achy breaky heart. Well, this is actually just turning my heart light on with these fun socks. There is kind of that manner in which we talk about, that your Jeep will never leave you.
Yeah.
If your relationship is on the rocks a little bit, at least my Jeep loves me, right? We've all seen that.
Yep.
And I'm not sure who those people are, but quite frankly, my Jeep tries to kick me in the pants constantly.
I feel like if you went with the full electric Jeep, if they eventually do self-driving, you would have to worry about your Jeep leaving you.
That's probably true. That's probably true. So with that said, today's episode, the Achy Breaky Jeep, we are going to be unpacking common ways that
Jeep might touch you.
that.
He went there.
Why does Scott constantly get so intimate
Touch
with
your
his
feelings.
vehicles
Touch your feelings, people.
in a negative way?
In a
That's what
negative
you're
way.
trying to say.
Yeah.
I wanted to say will break your heart, but you started talking about how your vehicle will touch.
That's what I'm here for. You're all thinking it. I just say it.
Excellent. I guess I
don't know.
I wasn't thinking.
I really
it,
wasn't
Scott.
either, Scott.
Now you are.
That's true. I can't stop thinking about it at this point. And so will our listeners. Some of them will just shut the program off at this point.
Nah, they expect it
We've
at this
lost
point.
them at this point. We've lost them.
Were they even still there at this point?
I don't know.
I mean, in the comments, we do have some comments.
There's quite a few comments.
We have been ignoring that. Maybe we'll do that real quick. So just to kind of start it off, we had a lot of good mornings. So Darla, Amy, Justin.
Good morning to all of you. Yes.
Darla commented, Scott, that your wheels look awesome. She saw that on social media.
Thank you.
Joe, Achy Breaky Jeep, must be talking about my JK.
I feel that.
Feel that.
Rob said, morning, guys. Joe said, square nuts sounds painful. Ties right back into your
Go back to-
conversation.
back to Scott. There we go. Scott was also the one who brought up square nuts. So.
Yep. Daddy Jeep saying he couldn't hear any of it talk about the Super Bowl, but that was from his Jeep out in the woods.
Doo-doo-ch.
Yeah.
I get it now. I was like, oh yeah, I couldn't hear it. No, it's because he wasn't.
I knew where he was going.
He wasn't watching the golf game with Scott.
Roy said good morning. Darla saying you could buy a whole Jeep for that $8,000. Joe said he could get a lot of Jeep parts and repairs. And then Darla saying that's actually what she originally paid for Harley. And finally, Joe saying, I'm wearing my Tiger 131 socks from the Bovington Tank Museum.
That's perfect.
Yeah, right?
That's perfect. Yeah. Good morning to everybody who's in the comments, and don't forget that if you're one of our 3 listeners on the downloads, and obviously we appreciate you being here, you too can join us on Facebook live every Monday at 10:19
Watch
a.m.
Neil play with his microphone and socks.
Well, that's actually kind of
It's
true.
true, yeah.
No doubt. So, common ways that your Jeep might break your heart in no particular order nor era per se.
I'm just going to get one out of the way because I have to do this on my way home from work.
Okay.
Put gas in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a good one.
That was such an easy one. I just had to get that out of the way and done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you took that one.
Yeah.
As a alley oop, and you just
Yeah. And see, my
crushed
wife
it.
has got the right mindset. So every time I whine about putting gas in the truck or any Jeep we own, she's like, it doesn't matter. Just put gas in it, which is the right attitude to have. But I just embody my dad. So I'm constantly looking, is that 5 cents cheaper? Is that a penny cheaper over there? Where should I get gas? And then a couple of times where I think I'm going to get gas will be one price in the morning. And then I go home and they've jumped it 5 to 20 cents. And Nope. I'm gonna run home on fumes now.
Running
And
home
now
on
I
Out of
fumes.
can't
principle.
physically
Out
go
of
where I'm
principle.
going
Yes.
because I don't have any gas, and now I'm going to have to go pay more somewhere else.
Yes.
But I didn't give them the money.
I didn't give
I
them the
showed them.
money.
Yeah.
That's right. You got them on principle. Yeah, I think that's a great one because I probably never would have brought it up because anytime somebody wants to talk to me about fuel mileage in their Jeep, I totally
You
blank
have
out.
Amy's mindset.
I've got Amy's mindset, you know. I don't
need to
care.
get gas. It could be.
I don't care.
As long as it's not $8,000, he's fine.
Correct. And the thing is also, as my frustrated trucker nature, people who are used to spending $30 to fill up their
Yes.
tank because they're driving that,
Yes.
2000s Ford Fiesta.
He'll swap you
That's
for
not-
the fuel with the International.
Yeah, I was gonna say the International is $300 to $500 to fill up at any given period of time. So
Yeah.
I don't,
If
whatever.
it's under $100, he's like, wow, this wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. And you know what? My vehicles take me to places, and I get to do things and create memories and experience life. I don't give a flying fig. And you know what? I had a good mentor years ago, and he had a gas RV, big giant
Oh.
Ford.
Yeah.
Had a big block Ford. No, I don't know if it's a big block, but it was a,
back then. It was probably a big block.
yeah, it was a big block, and it was a gasser, and it was a Class C, but it was a big Class C.
Yeah,
And
all the shag.
it wasn't that much shag. It wasn't. It was actually really classy, John. I'll be honest with you. And I said,
Shag's coming back.
No.
no,
No.
no, it's not. There's nothing you could tell me that says that's going to happen.
I'm going to start sending Neil the van websites now because those are also back. So anyway,
So I said to him, I said, well, diesel's better on fuel, blah blah blah. He goes, you know what? Do I get to sleep in the bed that I make, the pots that I have, already here,
Yeah.
the refrigerator on my back? He's like, I don't care. I get to live my life in the
for
vehicle.
the couple times a year, I'm going to use this.
Correct.
I just pay the bill and move
Yeah,
on.
and I just move on. And
Yep.
so I get it, and I understand being cost conscientious. That's not.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating against that, but I certainly, if I was primarily concerned about fuel mileage, I wouldn't drive a Jeep.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the reality of the situation.
Daddy
you know?
Jeep's in here saying, I put about $500 worth of gas in the Dub J last weekend. Worth every penny.
Absolutely. That's $500 worth of memories and experience and relationships and networking and content for him
Yeah.
in the process. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, on an individual basis, it's worth every little bit of that. Do we get to do the same level of just cruising around that we once did?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think you just go drive to drive all the time. But
Well,
I still, I was going to say, I still do go
I
for
was going to
drives.
say, I put a lot of miles on.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I was going to say,
and that'll lead to why, or how my Jeep is touching me, but we'll get
well,
to that.
that's fine. And I was just going to say, I will still, but here's the thing different for us generationally, and I'll just say this. I think there is a whole swath of people, a generation removed, who literally just cruised up and down the streets of their local, just literally like kind of the same street back and forth 100 times in an evening, basically.
You don't know me.
and so we might go on a drive
Yeah.
and have a destination in mind. I think there is or a semblance of a destination.
Yes.
Whereas I think there was people who would just literally go out and burn gas driving back and forth the same strip, which I know Scott did.
Yeah. Guilty.
Up and down Geneva on the Lake Strip,
Guilty.
and we would just drive down one end, turn around, drive back down the other
Oh,
end.
you're not allowed to turn around. I just drove around. It's fine.
I mean, cruising some back roads just to cruise back roads and enjoy the open
I'm
nature.
with that.
Yeah,
I'm with that. But
100%.
totally in the pocketbook, it could definitely touch your achy breaky heart.
Well, and that's where Matt's in here saying I'd be broke if I dailied my TJ, but we all knew what we were getting into. So
Well, that's also
that's-
true.
And well, not everybody does apparently.
Well,
I still on a consultative basis am constantly talking with people, and they're like, talking about fuel mileage, and I have to like put on my big boy listening cap and be like, channel my therapeutic sister and my gracious family members who are used to listening. And I hear that gasoline
gas
is
mileage
important
is
to
affects
you.
you. Yes.
How can we improve that? You know.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyhow, and Jeffrey, how Achy Breaky Jeep? What would you bring to the table?
New tires.
Really?
Well, specifically because new tires of going to 37 specifically is what my goal is. And the price of that, I'm due for tires.
Yes.
The price of that, it is what it is. We know the tires are expensive. The way it touched me was when I realized that I can actually replace all of Kristen's tires on her car for the price of one tire for the Jeep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
were
why
talking about that.
We should just own Jeeps because then there wouldn't be that sticker shock.
Can we talk about the fact
It was
that
actually a reverse sticker shock. It was weird.
is there any other industry out there where we buy a brand new vehicle and one of the most immediate things we do are like, hey, those brand new expensive tires,
Yes.
kick them to the curb.
Gotta go.
Our
Fire sale.
stock tires and wheels on Jeeps, if you were to go to the dealership and try to replace a single tire wheel,
Yes.
will run you $1,000 on combination.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Wheel is probably
Easily.
$650, and tire is going to push. You know, a
Speaking
stock
of-
32-inch tire is going to push $200 to $300.
Jeep, if you're hearing this, if we're allowed to order our Jeeps, I will totally take it without wheels and tires. I'll bring my own and take it home.
How brilliant
That
would
would be great marketing.
If you're going to take like 4K off the top, I will totally bring my own rollers to bring you home.
That's funny.
Like,
I've
you
never
just get
thought
those
about that.
You can put temporaries on it, haul it to the dealer, and take those things back.
Yeah, it could be like loan a temp tire.
Yes.
You know, like we
bright
do with
orange
ours.
ones that
And
you
it-
see.
Bright orange ones, yeah,
Yeah.
or like the ones that we have, that the dum dum rollers.
Yes.
That we've let our customers transport across the country
Yes.
with, and then they ship them back on a pallet. Or
100%.
Yeah, but
Next time they're
only
around.
only the Scots of the world would buy the Jeep that's sitting on dum tires.
I would totally. I mean,
Neil would do it.
I would totally do it because Jeep doesn't want to.
But as a
Yeah.
regular consumer, they're gonna go up and be like, "Oh, that doesn't look
Jeffrey,
cool. I'm gonna
you
move
bought
on."
a 21 Jeep with crank windows. You would totally save $4,000.
Could you
by-
imagine? I mean, there are. Yeah,
I would.
God totally put your business out
I
there.
would.
You actually.
I would.
You
Scott has
purposely
heated
bought a
seats and
stripper
a heated
package.
steering wheel because I'm too soft. You literally have to
But the,
ask your kid to
Let's go back
wind
to
down
the-
your back window.
the bell curve of society is looking for that street appeal when they purchase a vehicle.
So
Right.
then a dealer could then save that money, put some really sweet wheels and tires on that thing, and sell it for more. Look at all the cost savings.
Kind of brilliant. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I'm not. I've never heard that before, and that's a great idea. And you know what? I mean, talk about the fact that the bell curve of society does not need a Rubicon either.
Well,
you know,
that's also true.
and
Are you sure?
And while that may be true,
I feel so good looking at that hood all the time. It's like, wow.
while that may be true, even the people that aren't going to use a Rubicon love their bells and whistles.
and they love the
Yes.
idea that they have a Rubicon.
Correct.
Like they're so
It's
proud
like
of
they're
it.
in my head right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
My one
You're the
friend-
worst Rubicon owner.
I haven't even used the buttons.
He's a
on the dash
Rubicon
yet.
Gladiator owner.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
come
hauled
on.
stuff with it more than I've used the lockers.
You're the worst.
I
Absolutely.
just know they're there and I can use them.
I know they're there. He
Maybe.
says. Oh my gracious. Okay. So yeah, I understand your acquisition of tires.
Daddy Jeep's got the best point here. Almost every Dub J is running JK takeoffs. It's a terrible idea. Where would we get our wheels?
That's so true because when we had a WJ, we totally had JK takeoffs, and I had to cut the fenders to make them fit. It was a sad day.
That's funny. Oh,
Well,
WJs.
not everybody would do this. It would just be the cheap ones that are in Grandma's studio right now.
Well, and the fact that you know, that's a way that, you know, your achy breaky heart is the idea that Jeffrey now has to do 37s. If he would have
Yeah.
had that depreciated cost on the initial
Yeah.
purchase,
'Cause I
he could have
totally would
jumped in sooner.
use that money for a bed cover or any of those cool accessories instead of
A
wheels. and-
bed cover?
I
What
like
do
my
you
bed
mean
cover.
A bed cover.
I like my bed
like
cover.
a tonneau.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's talking about a Tanu.
Yeah, I like my bed cover. It's awesome. Anyway,
My
How are we friends.
my Conestoga wagon is more of a bed cover than what your Tanu cover
Yeah.
is.
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna get into my kind of what is my chief issue right now, and maybe it's probably just because my heart is broken by electrical issues.
Yes.
Oh,
And-
yes.
Yes.
As far as ways that your Jeep could let you down is the ridiculous nature of electrical issues that are plaguing
Yes.
Jeep branded
And the
vehicles
thing
right
that's
now.
Especially with CAN bus.
Especially.
What's terrible is 5 to 10 years ago, people would have been complaining about old vehicles then, saying, "Oh, electrical is a nightmare." They act possessed now. There's things that happen that you cannot really quantify or explain or trace or figure out at all, and the Jeep's just doing those, and you have witnesses. It's worse than the Mandela effect. You know it's the truth,
Right.
but in 5 minutes, the Jeep's not going to do that anymore. It's going to do something else over here.
Right.
And then when you think you have it fixed, it'll be the sweetheartest of a Jeep. It'll be like, I'm loving, driving with you right now, and I'm
Yep.
gonna behave. And then you're gonna call my owner? No.
You're gonna call my owner and tell me
I'm out.
fixed.
Hang on, let me
freaking
throw
out.
this other symptom out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just and the thing is, like, there was a time where I mean, all you needed electricity for was virtually to start the starter motor.
Yes.
Right. You used electricity, you hit the starter motor, and so long as
And if that didn't work, you got the hammer out and hit the starter.
No, if that didn't work, you got your buddy to pull start you.
you would pull
or-
start and
or
pop
ran
the
down
clutch.
a hill
and you
that.
pop the clutch and
Yep.
boom,
and
boom, boom,
move
boom, boom,
on.
right? And my kids might know the pleasure of pull starting or roll starting. I can
or we
roll.
failed them.
I roll start the International, and so I have roll started the International.
We have 50-plus-year-old tractors. If they don't know what working on something with a hammer, a screwdriver, and pull
That's
starting
true.
it is, we have failed them as parents.
And so as society progressed, and we started to add more and more electrical demand to these vehicles, which I understand. Headlights and turn signals and windshield wipers.
Meh.
And so understand, folks. Back in the day, you actually had vacuum actuation.
Yeah.
And
Which is a
and
terrible idea if you wonder.
it was terrible, but it worked for a brief moment while that vehicle was new.
brand new.
And you had a generator, or you had an onboard generator.
Yeah.
And so your engine produced sufficient electrical, capacity for use while the vehicle was on.
Yeah, for
right.
your AM radio and your clock to sort of work.
That's exactly correct, right?
Yeah.
And so as we start to get more and more electrical demand, our systems become more complicated. The continued challenge is not only do we have these high electrical demands out of our Jeeps now, but now we keep adding more, right?
Which I really
Well-
like, by the way.
And as we're talking about electrical stuff, Matt is saying, which gen model years do you guys think are the most likely to break your heart? And I'm just going to say 2000 to 2004 Grand Cherokees.
Yeah. Sorry.
The
Rob.
electrical issues in there
Sorry.
are ridiculous.
Specifically with a V8.
Specifically with a
Sorry,
V8.
Rob.
You could literally have a wire in the door break, and it'll trigger your wipers, your other windows,
Yeah.
on other doors
It'll make the
unrelated
Jeep
It
to
has
it.
to do with
really
the
angry.
interface of the BCM, and
Correct.
people ask me specifically as to why, and it has to do with the CAN bus was so advanced from what it was in the TJ and
Daddy
Cherokee
Jeep said,
era.
ouch.
Well, and Rob,
sorry,
you
Rob.
know that I have no patience for Dub J's, and I have one right now that's giving me all the business.
And
But
I
every
loved
time
my
he drives
04.
it
I absolutely loved it.
Before it kicks him in the shorts, he's like, "This is a really nice vehicle. I
It's a
like
really
how
nice
it
Jeep."
drives it." And then it's Jeep's like, "Oh, you complimented me." Wham!
Yep.
Every time.
Yep.
Every time.
But you know what? Let's not unpack the fact that we have a Renix era Wagoneer, Cherokee XJ Wagoneer in house. We have a Joe's JK, which is possessed,
Yes.
and despite the fact that he has attempted to, in some type of
We all have.
manner, bless it. The
that was
Dub
a straight
J,
up exorcism. And
an exorcism
It
of
came
sense.
back.
And so the issue is,
I'm getting black salt next.
it was an issue years ago that, and I'm not even going to unpack CAN
do we
bus
need to
and all
start
that
putting
kind of
salt
stuff.
rings around the Jeeps?
I'm
We
really
had one of the Mopar Underground guys who was a great influence on us, a mentor for a short period of time.
Yes.
And he said directly to us in 2014. He said, Jeep Chrysler Corporation, I see you, mothership. I'm speaking to you. If we're being aired on the assembly plant, hear me now.
Yeah.
This individual says to us, he goes, the business that understands and figures out the wiring of these Jeeps will be the successful business going forward for the next 20, 30 years because, and I'm paraphrasing, it sucks. That's basically it, right?
Yeah.
That from a level of corrosion,
Yeah. Wire size.
wire size,
Yep.
the insufficient insulation, and the
the
actual
fact that
quality
we
of the
made
wire.
it out of something mice love more than they ever did.
Yeah.
That's really a challenge.
And then the high electronic communication and control of the vehicle, and then the fact that we put so much more electrical load and demand on the vehicle.
yes.
Joe's taken the next step a little too
He's going
extreme.
right
I'm not
to
even going to read that
volcano.
one on air, but
It involves a volcano.
No, I'm going to read it. It says, I think the next step is possibly human sacrifice. I volunteer Jeffrey.
Oh,
what? Then you're going to end up with Super Bowl quality audio for your podcast going
that's
forward.
true. Oh, then our stage will collapse.
All right. Scott, do you have an achy breaky heart of another?
Rust.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's a personal one for you right now.
I've been touched by the rust, and then when you rebuild the Jeep, and then it tries to come back because you didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
that part sucks. You know.
I'm gonna go back to Matt Whitted's question for us real quick. You guys both said Dub J's. I see you.
I mean, there's
And
definitely other models.
I'm
out
gonna
there.
give you into. I'm gonna go to the JK
Yep.
next,
Yeah.
just so we have spoken out into the world that it goes Dub J, then all JK.
Well, I'll say first gen JK, then second gen.
I would
JK.
tell you if you wanted to split the JK into
Yeah.
dose categories.
You got 4 years with the newer JK to think you're okay before it touches you.
I mean, that's exactly correct, right? That's exactly
start
correct.
buying your spares.
Is
now.
there one that goes after? Is there one that becomes problematic after that? I feel like a little bit of the
I'm gonna
97.
Patriots?
I'm going to go with 97 anything. So if it's XJ or TJ,
Yeah.
that should be important.
Yes.
I'm gonna.
I
That's
agree.
my number 3. So 1 will be those Dub J's. I'll agree with you guys on that. 2 for me is going to be all JK, but you can quantify to say
Yeah.
first gen JK, then second gen,
Yep.
and then in a close third or fourth is going to be 1997 TJs and XJs.
I'm gonna. I don't know where this would fall on Neil's schedule, but I'm gonna say all Liberties. I'm sorry. 3.7s.
3.7 wiring
and
anything in the
first gen Liberties and rocker panels. More rust.
goes to the rust conversation.
There's so
Yep.
many running around with no rocker panels. The doors are now the bottom of the vehicle. It's like, why? It's you're missing like 3 inches of your vehicle now,
Yeah,
and they're just like driving along.
and
It's fine.
it goes right into the torque box on
Oh,
the
it's so
Gen 1
bad.
Liberties as well. It's a
We didn't
construction
learn
issue,
anything
folks.
from the Cherokee. It's like, oh, we're just gonna keep building that bad thing in there. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's a speed of manufacturing,
Yeah.
and so they've engineered it similarly.
Yep.
But for the rust belt,
It's
the rust
terrible.
goes from the rocker right into a primary structural torque box.
Yes.
So just kind of a food for thought there for your lib folks.
Daddy Jeep said that's for ground clearance.
No doubt.
It's fine.
It's like a boat side, but not.
Yeah, it's
Right?
fine.
All right, Jeffrey, what achy breaky heart?
I'm gonna go with gears.
Gears.
Really?
Gears. Specifically because of how many
I
people.
think he's just going through his shopping list, his
Right?
wish list
Nope.
right now.
I expected
No,
drive
gears-
shaft
gear-
first.
Gears aren't on my list. Drive shaft actually is.
It will
but-
be after he puts the 37s on.
Right.
The gears, I think specifically because of all the people that you see that are blowing gears out. I think that is something that gears can touch you if you don't do them appropriately.
That's an interesting angle.
Oh, so if you go to Jim Bob's garage and have gears done,
Yes.
or to a driveline shop who might be good at the physical installation
They
of gears,
could put
but
a
not-
9-inch Ford together like nobody's business.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but there's
Right.
a big difference between a 9-inch Ford and something under your Jeep.
And to me, if you're going to spend the money on gears and then have a shop that isn't experienced to it and have them blow apart on you, you've lost a lot of money, and
Oh, yeah,
it
that's true.
touches you.
Wow,
Yeah,
interesting.
That's very true. So with that segue, I'm going to say cheap upgrades.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but that's a hard one, and we've talked about cheap upgrades
Yeah.
in the past. And a lot of negative around them, honestly.
Yeah.
For us, but I it's the buy once, cry once.
I've
It's
just
the pay
seen
now
so
or
many
pay
people
later.
pay for things twice, 3 times, and it's like, don't do that.
Yeah. Oh, I hear that. I'm gonna say headlights.
Yep.
So throughout the span of all of our Jeeps, right,
Yes.
we are always constantly fighting appropriate and sufficient light output, right?
I would say that we probably have all lights for Jeeps to the present suck in some way or another. Is because we can't make factory lights have heaters when they're LED, so they're awesome until you're in a snowstorm and then you can't see.
You're absolutely right.
And
you know?
additionally, the JLJT headlights are 9 inches, and most manufacturers are still doing 7-inch headlights.
Yep, for
Yeah.
replacement
We're at
purposes.
probably another 5 years at least before people pull their head out of the sand and say,
Yeah, there's only a couple reputable brands out there that actually make a 9-inch. The rest have
And
a filler plate.
somebody needs to make
Yes.
a heater for headlights.
For
Whoever has
just
that's
a
gonna have.
heater overlay.
Yes.
And if we go back to a sealed incandescent, we just simply know that they are insufficient in their light output.
It's
So
terrible.
our 7-inch round sealed incandescent, and then our square 5x7s for the YJ folks out there. So I mean that in itself is problematic, right?
Yeah.
All of that is cheapened down for the kind of the economical consumer market.
Yep.
The last few years, quality lights became super expensive by
Yep.
comparison. So your achy breaky heart, if you want to try and do better with one of those 7-inch or 5x7s to actually replace it with a quality heated element,
Yeah.
you're paying $1,000 sometimes, right?
Yeah.
500, 1,000. Or if I'm going to give the Dub J's, and it's not love by any stretch of the imagination, but you get these yellowed out,
The
washed
haze.
out haze
Yeah.
on a number of different Liberties. I think had a plastic bulb as plastic face.
We'll say we have one in the shop right now that's got one headlight that's newer.
It's blinking
fine,
at us.
and the other one's all bad.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
And then to change those lights, you got to take half the Jeep apart.
right. And that and
'Cause
then
they were
again,
like-
an
They put the
engineering
engine in and then they
travesty.
put the headlights on. So then you had to, you have to take it down to that level to get to it.
We're doing an engine removal to change out the headlights, huh?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And Amy's in the comments going, the Uconnect system, the whole radio system leaves a lot to be desired.
Huh.
My JK touched her multiple times with the Uconnect system. She was not a fan.
Out of the JK, huh?
Out of the JK and the JT is a little better, but I don't know if she's
Well, we can
impressed.
get you in an Alpine.
I know.
I can help you install that.
Listen,
And I will tell you, if you hit your wife a Jeep that she dailies, then we won't hear about headlights, radios, or that kind of stuff, because they'll suck too, and they won't know that there's a better thing out there. Because my wife drives a Subaru, her lights are awesome. She has a little bit better of a stereo system, and so she constantly complains about mine.
A little
she's
better?
She's
Yeah,
comparing.
I gotta tell you,
contrasting.
you think, oh, my Jeep lights aren't that bad, and then you get in a newer sedan, and you're like, wow. Why can I see all that stuff?
See,
Now
and
I'm not going to hit that deer
And
now.
this is part of the headlight conversation is unpacking the idea that our headlights are simply 4 to 8 inches higher,
Oh yeah,
and the fact that now our beam pattern has to be more down than forward, right? And I'll be honest, if you haven't watched the YouTube video from the weekend, Jeffrey unpacks a little bit of this in the product that he's showcasing, and that you'll want to see that.
Yeah.
So is there anything else for the good of the order as far as achy breaky? I mean, we talked a little bit about tire consumables and gas consumption, wiring and rust. Any other ways the Jeep is going to leave you wanting more on this Valentine's
I have
Day?
because it's Valentine's week. I have to do the one more my wife just said. No automatic up on the power windows because her car does that too.
What are power windows?
Hush you. At least JL and JTs have one touch down now. Finally,
What kind of society are we living in?
The power
That-
windows matter?
That one touch power windows matter. All power windows matter. I don't understand. Like,
and I'm just saying Jeep has not cut up to a 17 Outback, sadly. So, see you, Jeep.
you're the worst.
I don't even know how to respond to him
I don't
anymore.
know. Oh my. Oh
Uh,
God.
I'm sorry.
Any other ways? Maybe
No,
some of
I
our
think
viewers.
on that
Well, some of our viewers. If there's anything else that you think of, leave something in the comments below. Reach out to us. Share with us. What ways has your Jeep left you wanting more, we wish you the best on Valentine's Day. And if things are not going well in your personal social relationships, that your Jeep
Hopefully
doesn't
your Jeep
break
doesn't
your
do stuff
heart
to you.
for sure.
Chuck says JL locker indicator light.
That definitely was a problem with the JLs. JLs have a whole slew of their own problems. But
Yeah, we'll move on. With that, we're transitioning.
yeah, good.
And now it's time for our product spotlight.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Spotlight.
Hashtag not sponsored.
So we had a missed opportunity here because you already had your breakfast. We could have had some chips for you to be snacking
Well, I
on.
was going to say
Oh.
you toss it out to our listening audience and viewing audience that they would be hungry
Yes.
at conversation of this.
Anyone got some queso? Go with those nachos.
There it is. There it is. Today we will be talking about, and as that light output conversation,
Yes.
we are talking about the Nacho Quattro lights, fog and
Yes.
pod lights specifically.
These are nacho like your other lights.
These are Nacho.
I think what's
I don't
important.
know. I can't
What's
think of-
important to note is there's so many different imports that are cheap and terrible lights.
Yes.
Greg and I were at SEMA, and we get to the new product section, and there's these nacho
And
lights.
Greg is prepared
everywhere.
to throw so much
There's-
shade at
There's
things.
so many of them, and they're all the amber color, which is what's trending.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, look, another import company trying to get into the market, and nacho. What we're picking fun at the name the whole time, and just like this is
You
ridiculous.
were being jerks.
we were
That's
being
what you-
we were being jerks
Okay.
without question.
Okay.
He's with
and
Greg.
then we
Fine.
turned the corner once you got there, and ARB has nacho lights on a whole wall
Yes.
in their booth, and we're like,
yes.
Wait a minute.
wait, what?
What happened? I missed something.
Yes, and it's important to note that we've been selling ARB products. We understand and respect what ARB brings to the table as a legacy business that's dedicated to the off-road market. And we had recently been doing a bunch with their Solus lights, which is just a phenomenal light technology that I'm in love with. And in their booth, sharing space with ARB is Nacho.
In fact, they didn't even have the Solus lights there. They had all nacho lights.
They intentionally did not bring the Solus line because ARB had within 6 to 8 weeks done a partial acquisition of Nacho's operating,
33%,
roughly speaking, right?
roughly, yeah.
Um,
And the ink's still drying on the paper at SEMA.
that was
Yeah.
the idea, and so they left the Solus all at home. With the intention that what they would be doing for lighting, they would be showing off the Nacho line.
And for those that don't know, where is home for ARB?
Australia.
Yes.
And
You almost got a good Australian accent out of me,
Almost.
but I just got
I
enthusiastic.
kind of want to hear
Did
it.
you hear?
He was going for
Aye,
it,
mate.
and then he was like, maybe I
Aye,
shouldn't do
mate.
this.
We're in Australia,
Is it in the Outback?
in the outback.
And back when
35 countries, folks. That's how people are listening to us. This
for
podcast.
this,
Wait. Are you going to have a barbecue there?
No,
Barbie.
Barbie.
With your
Hi,
walkabout?
mate. Yeah, we got those Nachos lights.
Yep.
So, anyways, the Nacho brand is actually based out of Mesa, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And they have over 20 years of manufacturing experience.
In fact, one of their founders and partial owners is from one of the largest, most reputable light manufacturers who consumed and demanded attention in the last decade.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say any more about that, but
And so Quattro, what they're bringing to the table with the Quattro lights is that they're thriving on design risk. Unlike a lot of other companies right now that are trying to play it safer, they looked for those risks and they're taking them. And
Right.
that's where they came up with this design. They have immense pride in the quality of it. The unique part about the Quattros is there's actually two different styles of light in one. You have your SAE fog light, so it's DOT approved.
mm-hmm.
And you flip a switch, now you've got a full flood combo, spot combo light.
You go full blinding mode is what it comes down to.
And if you've watched our SEMA video, you may have caught that. I don't know if Davey got that on camera or not, but I found out how bright it is.
You got
Yeah.
blinded.
I got blinded.
Yeah,
They said, here, we're going to flip the switch on so you can see it as I'm standing directly in front of
Yeah,
it.
Jeff
and they
has
just flip the
worst
switch on.
timing.
Jeff has the worst timing.
It was bad.
Jeff is Jeff. That's just the explanation to it.
I wasn't prepared for how bright it was inside a brightly lit room already.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah,
And
the sun
so-
touched him.
I did.
the Quattro series, and understand, Nacho is the manufacturer, okay?
Yes.
With partial ownership by ARB. Quattro is the series of light,
Yes.
right? Break it down real simple for folks. The Quattro comes in both an amber cover
Yes.
and a clear.
Yes.
Um,
Not changeable though. It's one or the other.
Correct. It is not changeable. So with our Solus lights, with our KC lights, they have covers. You'll see. And those of you who are scrambling to Amazon looking at different lights, I do, if you're looking for an economy light, I do like Nilight as an import manufacturer. Outside of that, you start to really run your risk of LED technology.
Well, and with LED, there's no LEDs made in the U.S. It's all going to be import of some kind. So
Yeah.
Correct.
it's the housing and the reflectors and the whole design of the fixture that matters, and that's what's done in the U.S.
And you'll get a whole bunch of people claiming to be USA manufactured LED providers. Also, there's a tremendous disconnect between fun LED lights, so your fun blinky colors, and your performance lights. Realistically, talking to some of those manufacturers at that highest level, they just can't get both qualities out of a single construction. So if you really wanted good quality RGB and performance, the price point is in excess of what the market is willing to sustain, is the argument. Also, people who are really dedicated to performance are not necessarily looking to make the Jeep light up like a Christmas tree.
Right.
And so there's a little bit of breakdown in expectation, but then also in price point for that average consumer. These lights come in at $450 for the pair.
Yes.
There is an add-on bracket that allows you to use it in certainly the JLJT fog light location.
Many other vehicle platforms as well, but the JLJT for Jeep, and there's two options on the bracket depending on if you have the Rubicon style bumper or just a lower model bumper.
The plastic bumper.
Plastics.
And recommendation for you from us, should you choose to do that. First of all, we want to sell them to you. Second of all, wire the DOT function to your switch. So put these
factory
in
switch.
to the factory switch.
Yep.
You'll need a taser in order to tell your Jeep that you now have LEDs. And then the secondary function, that off-road performance, you would wire that into an auxiliary switch so that when you wanted to go full off-road, you flip those bad boys on and you light up the night.
Yes.
These are super high quality, really cool product that we're very excited about. We did have a customer, as many of our customers do, drive back and forth the country, who picked up a set and came back with a set or
Yes.
two. And he was pretty excited about them, sharing with us. And that was a few months before we were out at SEMA.
Yep.
And then
He installed them right after SEMA, so we got to see them installed and functioning on his Jeep, and they're really nice looking. They just work.
They just work. And I think that we're going to see this as a significant contending brand going forward. As just a piece of it, since ARB threw their hat in the ring on it, I got to be honest with you, I'm going to kind of follow their lead, and they know something more than the rest of us to say, hey, this is a product, a process, an individual worth investing in. So I'm eventually, I don't know, we're going through them so fast at the moment. A set was supposed to go on Chuck Norris.
Yep.
So we can look for that in the near future. If we have a set. I don't know.
I'm intending to put a set on mine as well, but we'll see.
Right. We'll see how that goes, and maybe we'll produce a video on it and kind of show them off a little bit for you.
Yeah, it should go no surprise because ARB took an interest in all of ARB stuff is pretty darn nice and robust.
Yes.
and we've known that for a very long time. Their off-road suspension, all that stuff. While it doesn't give you a lot of lift, because in Australia you can't be.
Sure.
It's a high-quality product.
And those of you who may or may not be aware, Old Man Emu is ARB's extension of suspension. So
Yes.
ARB is obviously great air system, lockers, robust off-road components.
Front bumpers.
Yeah, bars.
Yeah,
Bars.
something you can hit a roo with.
Oh. He
That's a
mentioned hitting a
kangaroo.
roo.
That's a kangaroo, people.
On that note, folks.
We know, Scott. It's okay.
On that note, I think we call this meeting to a close.
Can you even do the ending at this point?
I don't.
You got to do it in an Australian accent now.
They talked about hitting a. I
Can't do it.
can't do it. He talked about hitting a roo. I'm losing it, folks. I'm losing it. Oh, gracious. We hope you have a wonderful, safe, happy, joyous Valentine's Day, whether that be with your significant other or others or your Jeep or whatever that means to you. It's 2020. It's 2024.
Joe
it
wants
could
you
be
to-
a roo.
Joe wants you to go pet his Jeep for him.
Oh, yeah. And there it is, folks. Until then, Jeep on.
Keep on.
Jeep on.